Yo, right here in the small box. So everyone's talking about the ICEMAN article that Drake had with Complex, where he was talking about ICEMAN, the live streaming, how he was new, just getting used to live streaming, just learning and all that. Cool, great. Question. Don't you think you should have learned about it first before you actually jumped into doing the project? I'm asking for a friend. Y'all already know. But why are you being experimental at the height of your career? That's my question. See, over here, we don't sugarcoat. We not soft. I'm going to ask the questions. Sometimes I might ask the questions you're thinking about, but you just don't want to say it. Don't you think you should have took the time to learn and understand the ins and outs of live streaming and the potentials and like the kind of like loopholes that you can use with live streaming to kind of help promote your album? You ever thought of that? Because me personally, before I even start to do something, I'd rather learn it before just jump in it. You know what I'm saying? Before I even started all this, there was some learning that I had to do. The changes that I have made along the way, that's based on the things that I've picked up after learning what I learned. There's some experimentation when it comes to here, but you can clearly see by what's in front of you right now that there is a solidified foundation around here. Now, at your level, what you need to understand is the last thing you want to do is just jump into something and then figure it out later. That's not smart. For what you claim to be, that is not the right way to move. Sorry, not sorry. If you hate it, I apologize, but it's truth. So this medicine is hard to take. Look, y'all know I can talk. Let's go ahead and get started. Y'all do know how I start this, right? So let's go ahead and make it happen. Let's go. Yo, you, right here, in a small, what am I doing? In a small box. Jesus God, what happened? What happened? I was right there. Anyway, welcome back to the Flex My Network. I'm Flex. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all tapped in with the greatest, your favorite Canadian reaction channel. Hope y'all enjoying yourselves. Hope y'all having fun. Hope y'all having a great evening, great afternoon, wherever you are around the world. I hope you are enjoying your time. Thank you for having me. Welcome back. I hope y'all are having fun. We're going to be talking about ICEMAN and the potential problems with it as well. So we're going to tap in with Sean C first. If you guys are not familiar, this guy's actually just like an all-in-all like streamer, but this is a streamer with sense, which is kind of relieving for me because a lot of streamers have no sense, you know. So we're gonna go ahead and dive in with dude right here. So listen, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the reaction. Don't laugh at me. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when I drop my videos or when I'm live, like right now. Don't forget to hype up the joints, all right? Hey, look, let's go ahead and get started, man. It's about time. Let's go. Make sure y'all got some water with you, too.
But I will read the article because there was an article sent with it, but I didn't click on that link, so I'm going to have to type it in myself. Drake breaks down his ICEMAN live streams. I've been dying for a challenge. Okay, please challenge me then. In a rare interview, Drake and Dream Kuru's, I wish I knew how to pronounce your names, bro. It's all good. They put together a series of ICEMAN live streams, obviously. Nearly 2 decades into his career, he's done it all. Long. Elaborate rollouts with multiple singles and videos, magazine cover promo, release night, sit-downs with Zane Lowe, surprise drops. By now, it's starting to feel a little stale to him. He's bored with traditional album rollouts.
What?
I mean, I've never felt like Drake has ever made...
Run that back.
Surprise drops. By now, it's starting to feel a little stale to him. He's bored with traditional album rollouts.
Drake is bored by traditional album rollouts. He's bored with traditional album rollouts. But that's what's worked for you. Okay, so on the Flex My Network, we kind of know what's going on behind the scenes. We understand UMG has a part to play with a lot of these things. So with you being bored of how UMG helped you with your album rollouts, mixed with your stardom that came from the boost that UMG has given to you. Why are you bored of album rollout? See, that's why I had to stop the video, because I kind of get confused when we hear that, because that's what's worked for you. How about, because you got to consider this as well, More Life. More Life was the beginning of the decline for a lot of Drake fans. Even prior, some people fell off from Views. They didn't understand a lot of like the Caribbean joints that he was dropping. You got to keep in mind, in Toronto, we're very multicultural, so I feel like Views was strictly for the city, but for the world to enjoy, right? But that's my own opinion on that. But for me, More Life is when it started to decline. So when we started to get Certified Lover Boy, and the other albums that follow it, because I can't remember them right now just off the top of my head. For All the Dogs. What was the dance album called again? I forgot. But you see what I'm talking about? Those albums in between that, and maybe you can throw in like a mixtape or so in there. My point is, you got to understand the trust with the music has been diminishing, and with ICEMAN itself, the whole series, episode 1 to 3, the music is not hitting. So, is it really the fault of the rollout, or is it the fault of the music? Because if you're known for being on a decline, and it has been confirmed, there are certain variables out there that confirms that there really is a decline. Because I don't know if y'all remember, but I said it a while ago. On his decline, that's when international artists started to pop. And that was around Certified Lover Boy, if I'm correct. When Certified Lover Boy dropped, well, not dropped, but around that time of dropping, we had a lot of international artists be introduced to America. You got to consider the variables of what's going on throughout the industry, not just this part of it. Who's being introduced? Who's people talking about? Who's people noticing? These little actions, variables, however you want to put it, that matters. Because it's going to help dictate what's going on at the top. Because if they're introducing new sounds like that, then, you know, it's going to get a little interesting for the individuals that occupy the clouds or the headspace at the top, you know? So you got to consider that as well. Views was dancehall music cooked up in an easy bake oven for pre-made dancehall music. I'm sick. This guy, don't kill me for AV. But you kind of see where I'm going with that though, right? Like, it's kind of interesting to talk about, you know? So when I see this little sentence right here, I'm like, okay, let's unpack that. But let's keep going.
Rollouts. I mean, I've never felt like Drake has ever made album rollouts feel like insanely exciting. I guess the only one that I was really surprised by or really anticipating was probably Certified Lover Boy, and that's generally because of how much it references his old music and when he was in his prime and when the music from Drake was really at its peak and he was his most hungry. That's probably the one that I was anticipating the most, and beyond that or before that, it would have been.
Yeah, then you saw the cover art and all those emojis pregnant. Okay.
His response to Pusha T on the story of Adidon with, what is that album called? Scorpion. That's what we were waiting on. At least me personally, that's what I was waiting on. A response.
Scorpion was the peak. That's why I'm saying More Life was the downfall.
I also really liked the reception of Views when it came out in 2016, but I don't really think it was like a fun or intentional like design. I think at the time Drake was hot.
Don't kill me, J.
And maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but I felt like, you know, he was just hot and everybody needed him to drop an album. I never felt like Drake intentionally put that much effort into his album rollouts. So this is unique to see, the whole live stream shit. I just think it's been done in a really sloppy way.
Yes.
I was asked by a creative partner what I love and hate about rolling out an album. He says, I expressed that I love the opportunity for a clean slate of thoughts and excitement and messaging when it comes to the music. What I hate is the redundancy of the formulaic approach that's been ingrained into our brains from early label days. Single video, album cover post, etc. This would probably hit me better if he had.
But your creativity is what's supposed to make it exciting. you're at the top. You command it. Your creativity is supposed to make it. Oh, you see how I don't fall for nonsense? You see how I don't fall for BS? Creativity dictates the project. How creative you are with this piece, with this project, with this pack. That's supposed to create the excitement for when you drop. What's going on? What's good, Jordan? How you feeling? What's going on? Something is not right here. I have to say that first. Because you know what? I got to listen to this part again.
Video, single video, album cover post, etc. This would probably hit me better if he had ushered in this new unique way of dropping music before he just did this live stream video.
Bro. And you got to understand, I still stick to what I said at the beginning of this. Yes, you want to do streaming. Why not learn it first from the individuals that you are friends with, so you can learn the ins and outs and kind of navigate the nooks and crannies of being a part of the streaming world and then presenting your music. If we are just looking at, hold on, watch this. If we're just looking at a wall throughout your whole stream, for like what? If we're looking at a wall for about 30 minutes, my God, that doesn't do anything for us. Okay, how about this? What if I watched the rest of this video and it was just pointed right here? What if I did that? Let's try it. Let's step into the shoes of the individual that is talking on this stream right now. Why don't we try that? Why don't we attempt that? What's good, Cousin B? Let's try it. Let's go ahead for the next For the next I'd say about 3 to 5 minutes. Let's try that real quick. Let's see how the chat responds.
Single within it, I'm coming with an album soon approach. But sure, I guess, you want to do something different.
But just think about all the background music and everything that comes with it, right? Just think about that for a second. What's good, Underground Nation? What's good, my goddess?
The music isn't necessarily different. Is, I guess, my biggest concern. When you repackage something, or when you're delivering a new product, I feel like not only should the packaging look different, but so should the thing inside of the package. You can't give people the same, meal just
so
like.
I'm glad this this article, and we're listening to Sean C right now, because this is where I dive into packaging, marketing, advertising, PR, etc. Right? Oh, y'all don't like it when the camera's pointed to a corner of a wall like this? Do y'all not like this right here? Let me know if y'all like this or not. I'm just curious. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do the same thing that he did in Iceman. Point the camera at a wall. Point the camera at the front of a building. Point the camera just in front of some lockers for about 15 to 30 minutes. Let's go ahead and try utilizing that creative technique and trying to see if we can capture the exact same moments that they did throughout the Iceman live stream. Let's just go ahead and do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to do the stream a little bit for right here. You know what I'm saying? So, I got it. I'm going to go ahead and keep talking, because the one thing that I liked, keyword is liked, when it came to Iceman episode 1 was the branding. The one thing that I appreciated was the branding. Now, either way, like, we got we got camera angles like this. You know what I'm saying? We have camera angles like this. What's good, man, Raven? I'll explain in a bit. Don't worry. For all the people that's just joining right now, I'll explain in a little bit. But I just want to say this first. From the merch, from the truck, the inside of the truck, the factory, the merch that he showed off on adinross's stream, I saw the branding and I said I appreciate and I like the fact that you're trying to do something here. What you're attempting is on track for your comeback. This is what works for an artist. From episode 2, what's good, Judy? From episode 2, sorry, for all the people that's just joining me right now, I'm trying to recreate the Iceman series by pointing the camera at random parts of rooms and buildings. So I'm just currently pointing the camera to the corner of this room right now to try and see if I can capture the Iceman effect, you know? Let's see if we can make that work. Anyway, I can appreciate what you did because that's what works. That's how it's always been. And you're doing it in a creative way by live streaming. Now, if you're going to point the camera at a wall or a bunch of machines for about 15 to 30 minutes, I'm sorry. It's not going to work, you know? So you got to focus on the subject. The subject is what drives the interest for the project. Sorry, not sorry. That's how it's always been, right? So, looking at layout, looking at the marketing, driving the Iceman truck throughout downtown Toronto, going around one of the busiest areas in downtown Toronto, which is the Eaton Center. Now, I feel like, and this is me personally, you should have done it through rush hour. I know a lot of people would be pissed. I ain't gonna hold you. But that's peak hours. But at night, it's smart regardless. Because I believe, if I'm correct, it was on a Friday night. And a lot of people were outside. So when he drove by in the truck, and a lot of people ran up on him like, yo, is that Aubrey? Like, yeah, that works. That's good. That's smart. Why didn't you keep it in the city? Why didn't you plan this in a way to keep it here? You didn't need to take it overseas. All the people, and I know you're on tour, but it's the timing that ruined the idea. The timing ruined the idea because what it could have been, it didn't turn out to be. Throwing in a random mascot, knowing that you have a whole Iceman theme, doesn't make sense. It makes no sense. Why is throwing Pinocchio in there necessary for Iceman? I'm not letting that go. Don't even get me started on the other 3 at the end of the Iceman episodes. That doesn't make sense. You're losing interest by throwing in random things to try and figure out what the audience like. You had it right. It was on the right track. Now you're on a mud road. You're not even in a dirt road. You stuck in a mud road. The things I'm saying, literally, this is what helps. Like, I'm really good at these things. I graduated well for a reason. Like, I'm good at these things for real. Understand that. So, when I saw episode 2 and you're out in the UK, I'm like, how is this going to work? Because you started in Toronto. Now you're out here. My guy, what if it was like, what if you just kept it Toronto? What if you kept it strictly Toronto? And I did predict like, oh, he's going to lean on the city after the beef. Episode 1 proved that. Why didn't you continue to do that? Why didn't you plan this outside of the tour so that you'll do what you need to do for the tour? And then you have these episodes drop every now and then. Right? Because the way you were doing it was smart. I got to admit that. The way you were live streaming, it was like you're live streaming a premiere. It wasn't actually live. It was a premiere. You can tell by certain details within the live that it wasn't like, oh, he's going to talk to the camera and be like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, he's not doing that. It was a premiere. The episodes are premieres. They're not actually live. I wonder if anybody really noticed that. You know? What about the shadowing on the wall? I'm sick. Don't kill me. Facts. I didn't see no Montreal Expos hats and nut. There you go. The shadowing on the wall would be clean. Yo, y'all are not serious. But you see how I'm getting into the actual details of this to try and help and assist and be like, oh, this is what's going to work. Why didn't you keep the continuity throughout the live stream? Oh, sorry, premiere. It wasn't live, to let y'all know. That something like that where, okay, check this out. Something like that, say for example, there's a camera down this hallway, right? There's a camera pointed down this hallway, and currently camera 3 is live right now, or premiered, sorry. But camera 3 is what's the focus right now. Camera 3 was active for about 20 minutes and nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, Pinocchio walks by. I don't know about you, but nothing about the ICEMAN series said live. It was streamed. It was premiered, but it wasn't live. Anybody that does live streaming would know that. Okay, but are you actually there? Like, like, what are we doing? Pinocchio's right behind me. Judy, don't do that. I don't like jump scares. Anyway, but y'all understand what I'm saying though, right? Because Iceman would have worked if the other 2 episodes followed episode 1. Visit different parts of Toronto. Why didn't you go down to Kensington Market? Get Kensington Market popping. Why didn't you do that? Kensington at night, boom, bring interest. Next thing you know, the businesses all around Kensington Market skyrocket. You know, why didn't you go over to Scarborough? Go down to Scarborough, just walk by the Opera House. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go inside the Opera House. Be like, oh, I remember this place, bro. I don't think I really performed here, but I really would have. Do something, bro. Why are you out there when you could have kept it here? Let's keep going.
On a different plate and think that it's like revolutionary or that different is really my biggest critique of what Drake is saying right now. So when it came to the rollout for the Night Studio,
hey Jordan, I know for a fact he knows a couple VFX artists out there that could have done that and could have made that a thing. That would have been cool. But keep it here is the main point to why I'm speaking like this. Keep it here.
Album, he wanted to try something new, a series of theatrical live streams on YouTube where he could debut new singles, build up a storyline around the project before it
What storyline?
drops. Been dying to act, and I've been dying for a new challenge. The game is extremely calm seas right now. Nobody's rocking any boat on the water, and so once we discussed the live stream rollout, it sounded like the perfect mix of risk and reward to me. I would probably respect this a lot more, like a lot more, if he didn't already drop that collab album with Party Next Door. I would probably respect this way more, because when the raps don't hit, Drake tends to go to the singing approach, to the R&B centric lover boy, you know, backseat, tried and true formula that he knows a lot of his fans love, and he knows is inoffensive enough to get him into the top charts without him having to take too many risks musically. So I would respect this more if you didn't do that album and then you came out with something like this and were like, you know what, I'm gonna see what the people think. I'm gonna put it out in this fashion and in this light, and we just gonna see what happens, you know. I wouldn't necessarily say that this is somehow making the seas not calm. If we're looking at everything else in the marketplace right now, I would actually say the biggest, and you're not going to like my response or my answer, but I would probably say the biggest wave or musical drop this year might have been from Young Thug. And that's primarily because of all the controversy around the album. He had a lot to say, a lot to prove.
Completely disagree. The clips.
A lot of people were looking for his response. Realistically, like everything that came with.
Nah, J-Tom. There ain't nobody in this chat can make me crash out. Honestly, I barely read anything he said. What's good, Tiff? How you doing?
Everything that he was saying. He had the perfect intro to drop what could have been one of his best records all time. It's Cardi and Clips. I mean, Cardi I wouldn't necessarily say his is more so built off of anticipation. Cardi is not, I feel like, intentionally rolling things out. And if you,
bro, literally, you could have went back to New Hole King. I just read what Ron said. You could have just went back to New Hole King for real. Bro, your presence drives traffic. It improves and makes businesses better and brings in a higher percentage of revenue for a lot of business when you are there. You could have, oh my God, bro, what you could have done with Iceman. You missed the complete mark. After the beef, the one thing a lot of people do is lean back on the fan base when they lose, to be specific. When you lose a rap beef, your fan base is your bread and butter. You know Toronto. Not all of Toronto, but Toronto has love for you. Why not lean on that city so you can regain your footing to get back to doing what you do? Why didn't you do that? That's my biggest gripe. Everything you did in Iceman doesn't make sense. Don't make me point this camera to the wall again. Don't make me do it. I will do it because that's a representation of how boring it was to watch Iceman. This complex article, this is damage control. Sorry, guys, this is PR. Fun fact. Welcome to the game. This is media. Real talk.
Do you consider that a rollout? He's been rolling out ICEMAN.
Exactly, Ron. Exactly.
Since 2024, early 2024, I'm pretty sure. And it's been a joy to watch, but it's been kind of sloppy. But the album itself is still fun. It's still nice to listen to, obviously. With clips, sure, they probably had the best rollout, best marketing, best approach, best everything. But I wouldn't necessarily say their rollout was risky. You know what I'm saying? Like, they definitely had the best album, video, single, you know what I'm saying, type vibe. But I wouldn't say that that's like a new formula for them, or not like a new formula for an artist. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would probably give it to Young Thug. Realistically, like, to me, I feel like he would have had the best approach. And he started it off what he was trying to do podcasts first to explain himself. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot that he could have done to make that insane. What do you mean? What did they do? What didn't they do? Whose podcast didn't clips appear on? Whose Twitter account? Did you not see them releasing music videos? They dropped music specifically towards Twitter and then dropped it.
The clips easily held down 2025 with their album release. Let God sort them out. They put on a masterclass on how to promote a project. Just think about that for a second. Remember, I like going back to the Wayno quote, but you got to see one person 15 times to tap in with them. Now, the 15 is an example, but the more that you see one person, one group in multiple different spaces, that builds interest. That's all the quote is trying to say. The more we see you is the more interest it builds. And from that interest, you can turn that into revenue for yourself. The clips commanded 2025. Let's make that clear right now. Let's not forget the Vatican. Let's not forget that. That is a stage. Like, let me tell you something. Of all the stages they could have stood on, that was the stage to stand on. Ready, by the way, with the tie. Come on, bruh. Hold on, let me.
On YouTube, did Tiny Desk, did podcast after podcast, showed up and did shows here, showed up and did shows there, dropped single after single with music video to go along with it, teased features nicely, finally dropped the album, performed at the Vatican. Like, they did everything.
What's good, Hugo? What's good, Hugo? And I agree with you, bro. I agree with you.
Yeah, they went to publications, they spoke to everyone, did radio shows. Like, they did literally everything they needed to do this year to have a success story. So I'm not mad at them at all.
Furry B,
but I just
maybe
would say that it's still a traditional rollout in comparison. When I think about my favorite rollouts, I'm also thinking about how many other people were involved too. Like, how excited did the culture at large get for this record when it was, you know what I'm saying, when people were anticipating it. He turned the Instagram caption into an art form, figured out how to make or use memes and rollouts. Figured out how to use memes and rollouts.
What?
And mastered the art of the midnight SoundCloud drop, to name just a few examples. I mean, some of these things that, and you're going to see this regularly when you know of the guy that actually did the thing that the big
Raven,
guy
relax.
is credited for. The big guy gets credit for what the smaller guy did. You're always going to be able to trace these things back to their original format. Like, we know figured out how to use memes and rollouts just is not true. Mastered the art of the midnight SoundCloud drop. Like, what? He was ahead of the curve when it came to live streaming too. In 2018, he broke Twitch records by playing Fortnite with Ninja. This he did do. In more recent years, he's gone live with streamers like adinross, XQC, Cool. I could read all day and all night about how much he does and how much he understands and how much he is studying up and understands the culture that he's in to an extent, at least when it comes to how he's consumed through the internet. It's not led to anything beyond aesthetics. You know what I'm saying? And
because you're missing the point with the studying. You're studying to just do. That's the thing. That's the mistake. When you're studying, you're just studying to do things. When artists are studying, they're studying to create. The creation is what drives the interest. When you make something fun and exciting, grungy or interesting, regardless of what you're running with for a project, if you make it interesting enough, dope enough, crazy enough, wild enough, it's what's going to work for your project. That's the lane that you're in right now. I want to make that clear as well, because this is the lane that he put himself in. So you must drive down said highway. I'm not going to sit here and fall for the nonsense. Anybody with a small brain can fall for the nonsense. I'm sorry. Over here, it's a little different. We're going to pick things apart. We're going to study it. We're going to understand it. So when I'm sitting here and I'm listening to what we're hearing from this article, no, there's a lot of things that I disagree with. But like I said, this is PR. This is damage control. This is the marketing. Marketing can be used for offense or defense, just depending on how you know how to use it.
Like I said, I'm a guy. I like pretty shit too, but you can only pretty up shit so long before the smell starts to come around. When I catch a whiff that you ain't showered, or you know what I'm saying, that you ain't cleaned this shit up in mad long, it's still gonna remind me that, yeah, this is the same guy. The disguise in that you're appearing in a different way is cool. You know, the ICEMAN rollout, I love it. Don't get me wrong. It's fun to think about you presenting yourself in a new fashion, but when I'm listening to the record, I don't hear ICEMAN. I hear same old Drake.
Yep.
When I hear the record, I don't hear, you know what I'm saying, this new Stone Cold Killer.
Again, that's researching and learning to just do. Why don't you do that to create? Who's with you in these rooms when you create things? Are you leaning on other minds to help and assist you with what you're trying to do? ICEMAN series, cool, but there was nothing ICEMAN about it. It's crazy.
That's got this new mindset that's mowing down everybody in his path. I hear Aubrey Graham. You can appear different as much as you want. I know who you are. I know what you do. Here, I watch murder docs a lot, and as you get invested, you start to try to solve things before you even know where it's headed or what the answers are. Yeah, for entertaining shows typically. For entertaining shows, for stories that have a narrative, a plot that's interesting to follow. Not when the main character is kind of silently meandering through the world that he's in, being followed by a character that we really don't have any context to or know what it is that you're referencing. And when we have greater context beyond the narrative that you're trying to paint about yourself, it makes some of the narrative that's within this story appear to fall flat on his face. Like there's a gigantic conspiracy within the ICEMAN rollout.
Hey, here's an example of an ICEMAN rollout, guys. Let me just go ahead and read this real quick. I watched a plastic bag get caught up in the wind today. It inspired me to drop an album about taxes, and I'm calling it Cheesecake. Shout out Raven. That's an example of ICEMAN. It's crazy.
That Drake is presenting as just hardcore fact And then when we come out of that conspiracy, we realize, oh shit, no, you're appealing your lawsuit for losing a rap.
What's good, Sarah Wong? I don't think I've seen you in here before. Welcome to the Flexing Mind Network. Thank you for tapping in.
Battle, brother. There's only so much that I can really feed into the show that you're giving me right now, knowing that it's supposed to reference your true life. And when we look at your true life, bam, it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? No diss. If the music good, the music good. They had to learn on the fly while making the first episode. The process leading up into it was intense. We lost signal multiple times. Come on, I get you though. I get you. The connection be a killer. The connection be fucked up. With a music video, every frame is controlled. You check every line item, every light, every detail. I mean, they're just kind of detailing what you would do on the set of any music video that you would film, like, ever. And it's not to say that live streaming doesn't come with its own set of complications, especially when you're as big as somebody like Drake and you're putting it on a platform that has 20+ million followers where you've released all your other music as well. But I just feel like creating it as if it's this unique set of problems where, you know, we're doing something revolutionary and what Drake is doing should be written down in history books. I struggle to see it as that big of a difference when you could, again, do it traditionally and kind of receive a warmer reception, I feel like. Because I feel like I'm being misled when you constantly rearrange the way you present yourself, and then it's just the same old guy. And they're not done yet. The Iceman episodes aren't finished. The full story is yet to be told. The finale will be our best work. Is there even a story right now? There's a story.
What's the story?
If you want to believe it. It's kind of like going to see a superhero movie, being told, like, when you're walking out of the theater, like, you know that wasn't real, right? That's kind of how I feel about Iceman. I just wish it wasn't supposed to be such a strong parallel to Drake and supposed to be this story you're supposed to take seriously and as reality. But just knowing that you're being gaslit, you know, knowing that you're being forced to try to follow a point of view that isn't accurate, it's going to leave a sour taste in people's mouths that aren't just diehard Drake fans. You feel what I'm saying? I think there's especially given how many resources and everything he's got access to, I just feel like there's so many other ways that he could have presented this rollout that would have been fun, engaging, and more interactive if he wanted to stick with the live stream approach. That's just me, though.
Don't kill me. Hey, what can I say, bro? Why am I seeing myself so much, bro? That's crazy. Hey, Hugo, I read what you said earlier, and it's a good point as well. Drake wanted to have the finale twice, but before the case got dismissed, then again, when the Blue Jays were up 3-2, oh my God. So you kind of see where he's like trying to insert himself into certain possibilities to help drive a narrative. Now you got to go back to your storyboards and rearrange it so that you're going to continue the story that you're so-called trying to develop with Iceman to really drive it home with the finale, even though it literally doesn't make sense. If I'm going to be real, Iceman makes no sense. I'm gonna keep it tall. I know there's somebody out there on Twitter that made an explanation as to why Iceman is like that. I'm here to let you know I do not care. That explanation is so left field, it's not even funny no more. And I did say, if anybody can attempt to explain Iceman just based on the visuals that they saw, that weed must be strong, brother. You know, that weed must be strong, my boy. It must be aggressive, dog. Like, hey, take it from me. When you really want to make some, because you got to keep this in mind as well. We're in a realm of where authenticity is at the forefront right now. You can still do what you want to do, be who you want to be, and be successful that way. But you need to understand, you got to put effort into your work now. If you're not putting effort into your work, then I can't help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you want the consumer to do if you're not caring about your work, not caring about the music? The music has been mid for years. Bro, look at the chart numbers that the songs from Iceman got. From once they hit a certain number, they just fell off. Your music doesn't have staying power now. Forget the longevity. It doesn't even stay where it's supposed to be. That's a problem. Why are we not solving for X? It's ridiculous. You know? Because for somebody that's from here, we need a win. You know what I'm saying? We need a win because right now there's not allowed. Shout out to Toby. His sold out concert was amazing, by the way. But we need a win. Where's the win? We have a problem. And where's the rest of our greats? What happened to them? Hey, bro, I'm just simply asking the questions that nobody wants to ask or they're too afraid to ask. You know? Toronto needs a win. Canada needs a win. It's just not looking good, plain and simple. That's just how I see it. If y'all can't understand that, that's cool. Just please understand there's some education that needs to be taken in for you to see what I see. Because it's looking kind of dangerous right now. I'm just saying. All right, that's the first of 4 videos. Let's move on to the second one.